switch on the back of this blick and go. Only tap this bitch one time feel.
If you got 10 years and you wind up in ADX or Marion, you're a troublemaker. There's some issues. You have a lot of issues. Now, John Gotti Jr. did hit on something too. The Latin Kings, the Gotti's very close with the Latin Kings. Let me just put it that way. Junior is too. So he's not in them. I'm not. So don't get into that. But I'm just talking about doing time and stuff like that, because their organization is kind of like a little bit like correlates with the mob, which all organizations do. But you know, so there was a lot of Latin Kings. There was a lot of like I said, you had Black Bob. You had the whites. You had people. They rallied for John Gotti, especially when he got sick. You know, they went on hunger strikes and stuff like that. So no, nobody was doing nothing like that to John, like extorting him or anything like that. And a lot of them hits and people made at Walter Johnson is because they loved John Gotti, not because John Gotti laid out money and stuff. Sammy's a liar. Sammy wouldn't last on a real yard, on a penitentiary yard. He would last about as long as Whitey Bulger. So when Sammy tells you these stories, remember the yards that he's on. Okay, and remember the guys that he said co-signed him and didn't like Gotti. If they're on the same yard, that means they can't walk a real yard. There's something going on, you know. So
there was an incident where the Colombians had got into it with one of my guys. He sucker punched him down in one of the units. So two of my boys jumped on the Colombian, and what ended up happening is
Cartel Colombia.
Yeah, these were, well, one of the guys that was in that circle with the Colombians was actually running around with Pablo Escobar. Half of his side was like where you could tell where he got hit with a machete. He was walking like his left hand was paralyzed, but he was a millionaire. So what happened is that the Tango Blast, since it was their yard, because they were about 300-400 deep on that yard, they were extorting him for protection. You see what I'm saying? So when my boys took off on him in the unit, they got off on the black Colombian, one of his associates. It came on the next move. Everybody came out to the yard. We got up with our people, with the GDs, the vice lords. They're ready to get our backs. And we told the Tango Blast, don't involve yourselves in this because it has to do with us and them. But they're like, well, no, he's under our protection. So then what ended up happening is we'll light up the yard then. Let's go. So Boxer came to me and he was like, listen, man, he pulled me to the side. He said, with all respect, man, he said, I know how you guys roll. I know you guys got to do what you got to do. He says, but we're going to have to get involved. And I don't want to do that because we have a good relationship established with y'all here. You see what I'm saying? And
so they were going to assist the Tango Blast?
They were going to assist the Tango Blast. And the reason is because since we had blacks in our car, they can't see blacks. They can't stand idle and watch blacks take off on Hispanics. You see what I'm saying? So they use that. It's like a racial tension. You feel what I'm saying? Now, at the end of the day, I don't care what people say. I don't see that's right. You feel what I'm saying? If it's a car that's crashing with another car, let them go.
What's kind of the breakdown on the Latin Kings? So you're talking about federal prison. So federal
Correct.
prison, who do they click up with? Who do they identify with? Or are they just pretty much their own entity?
So basically, we're our own people, but you know, as we're more closer to home, we consider like Greenville, Terre Haute, a lot of the Midwest spots. We consider them our back door, our home, because it's right there. But the more out west we get, we pretty much it's upon our own discretion. We'll click up with the homies, and what I mean is we have this thing called the coalition, the Midwest Coalition, and where it'll be us, the vice lords, the Latin folks, any ally that's out of the People Nation, or just homeboys that want to be aids and assists, that, you know, want to ride with us, and you know, will accept us, and you know, we'll protect each other's back and follow the same laws and rules, check paperwork, you know, look out for each other, and make sure we do our time correctly like it's supposed to be, so we can get home to our families.
Exactly. That's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, man. I know I've never done federal time, only state time. So I know there's a vast differences there, you know, because you got people from all around the country. So I know you kind of adapt from yard to yard, prison to prison. If
Correct.
From what I've heard. Whereas in
Correct.
state, it's one set program. That's what we got coming. You already know. It doesn't matter what yard you go to. It's branch and union. Everyone should basically be running it the same.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a
Correct.
trip, man.
Correct. Correct.
The motherland's in Chicago, and I know that you guys got a big following in New York.
Hmm.
Are there vast differences between Chicago and New York as far as the movement, or is it all under
Oh
one now?
yes, oh yes, night and day, night and day.
Night
See,
and
I
day?
mean, like over there, it's like I said. I used to go. I was telling Flacco in my last video is I used to go out there. I got family out there in the Bronx, and
Okay.
I used to go out there every summer. My uncle worked in the unions over there. I go over there, work with him during the summer, play baseball, whatever, you know. And I was already a member with my boys. And when I went out there, I had a little couple incidents with them where they do things opposite from us, you know. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna see it in Chicago, but if you get caught, we'll smash them. But
You
over
brought up
there,
something
like,
about the charter. There's a third.
yeah,
There was potential a third faction that tried to branch
yeah,
off. Gunner.
right,
Is that
right. So
right?
so you know, you have us that's KMC. You know, our
Okay.
literature's KMC, and then it's the original literature, and then you have New
Mm.
York, which is Bloodline. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Bloodline.
And that Bloodline is basically something that King Blood had grabbed. You know, he was originally from Humboldt Park, from Chicago. He got kicked out of Chicago, from what my understanding is from the history. He got ran off. You know, I mean, he left to New York. He was doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing. He already had been violated. He got pushed off from the nation. He went out there, formed this unity within Puerto Ricans, and created Latin Kings out there. But he grabbed our literature and rewrote it to his own benefit. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? And added more, you know, more to it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of got a little bit watered out. Then
Yeah.
somebody from there went to Connecticut and they formed what you call a charter. So then you have the kings and queens in there. They rewrote theirs to fit them. But now
Mm.
what happens is now they're led wrong. They're led blindly. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know, and now when they come into the federal system, they're like, oh, where are these kings coming from? We thought we were the only kings. No, 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 no. Y'all
Mm-mm.
gonna fall in
Yeah.
line correctly. You know what I'm saying? You're still our brothers. Y'all believe in what we believe in, but we're gonna teach you correctly how the things are supposed to be done, or you get smashed off the yard.
But they get to the federal system, or when they get around you, do they recognize you guys as the founders, as the group that's really the dominant group?
They do, but you know, like I said, they were already instilled with King Blood. Now, don't get me wrong, it's what happened with Blood, you know, as him doing the process he went about creating them.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It, in the long run, it made us stronger. It's going to
Yeah.
bring us more together as a whole. We accept it. If Blood was to walk into the USPs and they let him out of ADX, he will be embraced. He will be respected because he created a movement
Yeah.
that added on to our beloved nation. You know what I'm saying? Just at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, it's our job to help correct some of the mistakes that were made.
So I get out of TYC and I'm back in the city of Laredo, Texas, you know. And I meet up with the brothers, you know. We doing our thing. And our hood, when I was growing up, it was right by Nixon. And Siete Nuevo, right there at the Diaz, you know what I'm saying? But through the entire city of Laredo, Texas, you got kings in different sections, you know. So you got kings from all over the city. But anyways, I catch a case, I get popped, I get sent to Falfurias all over again. And in there, you know what I'm saying, I get the bad news from my sister that one of my carnales got gotten killed, you know. So when she came and visited me, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, what you mean he got killed? That's my boy Cesar Tano Melendez. That was one of my main carnales. Going to federal prison. And while I'm in federal prison, I'm getting transferred through Carn City, the CCA of Laredo. Been to the Geo over there in Falfurias. So I'm getting transferred over to the FDC Houston. Then I get to Oklahoma, El Reno, matter of fact. I get to El Reno, Oklahoma. At the FDC there, it's a transportation unit for all federal inmates. Anybody that been to the feds and been on Con Air, and you flying from state to state, you're gonna go. So when you get there, they got a bunch of planes. It's wicked over there. It's like, you know, all these prisons and just the planes land in there and they loading everybody up, you know. I end up catching a plane on Con Air and I'm 19 years old on my way to federal prison. you know, and in federal prison, it's like, you know, there's so many inmates on this con here, it's all shackled up. I'm 19 years old, surrounded by grown men that tatted, you know, all over their face, on their heads. They're just sick with it, you know. You got brothers, Hispanics, you got the whites, you know, you got everybody, the natives. So everybody's there, you know what I'm saying, incarcerated, getting transferred to different ranches, different units. I finally get to my destination of Florence, Colorado, and I made it into the maximum security prison, the USP. So when I'm in the USP, I'm still affiliated, I'm still part of the nation, so I'm claiming it. I'm letting them know who I'm riding with, what I'm affiliated with. They let me know where the carnales are at, where my homeboys is at. So I get with my peoples, you know what I mean, I report. They required I got my PSI, and the brother that had the compound at that time, his name's Pee-wee. Pee-wee from the Chi, he's a brother out there in Chicago. So P at that time had the yard, and there was other brothers in there. Shout out to Goyo, my brother Goyo out there of Little Village in Chicago. I also had another brother, Chino. Chino was also from Chicago. Blaze was a king. He was a white boy, sick with it, man, from Ohio. Blaze, I forgot his real name, but that's another brother right there. And so anyways, I'm affiliated there with the brothers, and we holding it down for the kings, you know, for the entire United States. We're the only representatives there of the nation.
Hey Cortez.
Never trying to tell anybody what to do, man, but just telling you, this is not the place you want to be. Freedom's better. Get out the streets before it's too late. And besides, the only place worse than this is a casket. Please, man, if you've seen this, stay free.